I mean, the fact of the matter is, the piece that we've built, nobody makes this piece. Nobody would make this. And even the product that we bought, even their product doesn't do what we want. It does rating in Excel the way we've always done it. And you can do this rating in Excel and you can attach these Excel ratings, which is what we did in our old system. But it doesn't do what we're doing in this NP2 system that we built with CEI. My name is Gina Spangenberg, and I am an IT manager and business architect with Provident Agency Incorporated. We are an insurance company, and we've been in business for over 100 years. And the niche business that we really concentrate on is we insure fire and rescue workers. That's largely our business, but then we do a lot of different special risk type insurance policies as well. We were in a unique position when I joined the Provident Agency, because we had already embarked on a custom development program with another vendor that I kind of took over when I got there, and then I ended up terminating that project, and we ended up starting over. So we started over with a new team, with the CEI team. So we were really under a lot of pressure initially to get something to production, something very useful, and we were, I think, 6 months to our first release. There are a lot of out-of-the-box insurance solutions out there, but because we have such a niche business and we're really not a property and casualty company, there really wasn't a product off the shelf available to do what we do and to kind of issue the kinds of unique policies that we issue. It's a large calculation engine that does the rating and comes up with the premium. We were doing that manually through Excel spreadsheets and issuing the proposals that way. So that took a long time. So that was the first part. And then second, when the clients come back and say, okay, I like the proposal and I'd like to select one of these plans, how do we turn that proposal into a policy? And again, we were just operating very manually like a lot of companies do. So that was the biggest need. And keep in mind, in a company that's been in business for 100 years, our renewing business, we've had the same clients for decades. And so our renewing business is our bread and butter. And so that keeps the cash flow in the door and whatnot. So the idea that we would improve upon that process and do more and more business with the same small workforce that we've employed, over the last 10 years or so, that was really big for us. So the solution that was delivered for us really facilitates our whole underwriting process. So it is compiling customer data, including statistics that we use that help us rate our policies and our proposals. We also built a broker module, which helps us to regulate different commission rates for our brokers, for renewing business. If we have rollover business that we want to add a special rate for, it also helps us to manage all of our broker licensing. We are not allowed to issue a policy to a broker who's not licensed in the state that they're selling our policies in. So we are able to cross multi-states with the module that's been built for our brokers, and so that's been very helpful. And then we also have the ability to upload any relevant documents to the broker or to the client, but especially the broker, where we have agreements with the brokers. We may have actual physical copies of their license and things like that. So we are able to upload that documentation as well with the broker modules. We have internal producers. Our regional directors are like our internal sales staff. They also work with the brokers, or at times we may not have a broker involved. We might deal directly with the clients. And then our regional directors our sales guys are directing business with the client. They also have to be licensed. So we're able to manage their licensing and commission rates as well. With those three things, we are able to gather all the information we need to be able to do our rating, which is the basis of what we do in terms of our underwriting department. We are able to plug in all those statistics. CEI has built for us a really large, just a large calculation engine for our accident and health business that helps us to gather all those statistics and calculate premium. It takes minutes, really, probably, I would say under 10 minutes to generate a proposal per client that we have in our system, whereas in the past that could have taken anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how complex the proposal was. So the nice thing about what we've built, and like a lot of companies, we've had exceptions to every rule. We've built the system loosely enough where we can usually overcome most of those exceptions. Things are not tremendously locked down, which is good for us because we need that flexibility in the marketplace to be able to do business the way we have done business in the past. Even though we have a system now, we're not manually doing it, so we can't do anything we want, but we are still able to maintain that flexibility, which makes us nice to work with, and it makes our clients and brokers like us for that. I can say I've just recently gotten feedback from our management team that where we are this year in terms of our revenue over last year, because we were still manually processing a lot of our A&H business, I mean, we're like way far ahead of the game, and they attributed that directly to this application. CEI was quickly able to understand what we do. We did an initial sort of discovery project, which was 2 weeks long, where I sat and met with Jason, we pulled in subject matter experts, he asked a lot of questions, and we just started documenting what we call user stories, which are the basis for the requirements that we're managing in the agile development world. So we're still using those user stories. We're sometimes, like in the last 6 months, we've come across ones that we came up with in the first go round in the discovery meeting, and we're finally starting to build some of those things. So I would say that discovery project helped us in a lot of ways. It helped us to make a decision on the first application that was built by the previous vendor, where we just said we're not moving forward with it. It doesn't really do what it needs to do. So it was helpful in that way, and then it was also helpful, I think, in getting the CEI team up to speed and understanding what we do. Using the agile approach was new to me. I was used to, the old waterfall style. I actually have come to really appreciate and prefer this type of approach. One of the reasons for this particular project, it really helped us to get something out the door faster than you would ever see in a traditional waterfall type project. You are developing as you go, you have something to show users, and I think that was really impressive to our management staff. So that approach was really great in terms of us being able to deliver something quickly and making it more effective. And then also quickly to be able to change stuff if we thought there was things that needed to be modified or added. So I thought that was great. I really feel like this is a real team approach. I feel like the CEI team is really my team, and I manage them as such too. And I think there's just a lot of mutual, hey, we don't always agree. Everyone has a different idea of how to do things, but there's a lot of mutual respect and a lot of good dialogue that goes back and forth, which is what has to happen. If you're not having that dialogue, then I think there's something wrong, and you probably don't have the right resources engaged. In fact, our management team commented a lot on this in the initial meetings, that how quickly, the CEI guys had a very good handle on what we did and at least how we were going to start. Maybe we didn't know every detail going in, but they had a very good handle and were able to reiterate back to the business team what their ideas were and how relevant they were to the business, and that meant a lot. So I felt the communication was really open, not only just with the team, but up through the management team as well. I said from the beginning, the CEI guys right now in the first probably 4 months of this project know more about our radar than we do, and about these calculations and how they work. And it's really true. I'm not exaggerating that. They really took that information and dug way deep into it. And that's where we found out some of these things and went back to the carrier and said, okay, we think these calculations are amiss. This might be a little bit off. And they did make those adjustments. So that was very impressive to everybody. It's because of their understanding of what we do that has gotten them to this point where they can see things like that, and it becomes obvious to them that maybe something's amiss and needs to be corrected. When our project comes to an end, we're not going to get these kind of resources back again. From an IT perspective, from my experience, I felt that it was a very competitive rate that we were getting from CEI. It's been a great partnership. absolutely, we would entertain using CEI again in the future if we had any other big projects coming. There may be times where we might need to consult even, along the lines of the integration. We're still going to have Arwin on our team for part of that, just for that reason, because he's been, the main architect behind the solution. We think he's going to be instrumental in helping us to integrate it. So it's all been good. We're glad we came, and we'll do it again.